Hey, look, we've got a new screen for Sympraxis Consulting, and we've got a new person. Who's that person?
Who's that guy?
Hey, it's Mark Cashman. Yay! Yay! Welcome to Sympraxis Anything Live CollabDays New England edition. Yay! We're all here in the same room. It's completely weird and freaky. Hey, look, we've got a new screen for Sympraxis Consulting, and we've got a new person. Who's that person?
Who's that guy?
Hey, it's Mark Cashman. Yay! Woo! So we're very excited. Very excited. Yes, thank you for the clapping. We're very excited to welcome Mark Cashman, live, retired from Microsoft. And fresh off of his Microsoft tenure and with us in, he misses the intrazone. We all do, but you know, we have him at Sympraxis. So do you really miss the intrazone anymore? Here it is.
We've got a recording coming up. Maybe I could just give an alternate intro.
Yeah.
Welcome to the intrazone. We're here with Sympraxis. Whatever you want us to talk about.
Nice. So we are super excited, as I've already said, to have Mark with us. And so now we are 7. As I said, today is Ask Sympraxis Anything. We are off-site as a team. We're here at the MTC in Burlington, Massachusetts, in the United States of America. And we're getting geared up for CollabDays New England, which is on Friday. So a bunch of us are in this conference room. We're just doing a little off-site-y stuff and just connecting as a team person, which we don't get to do very often. So that's fun. And so today we are welcoming Mark Cashman. So, you know, we're open to questions about Mark's enjoyment of Sympraxis for the first, like, few days.
We have a prepared script.
Yeah, here's the appropriate responses you're allowed to give. None of which include "we're crazy." But what we're really here for is to answer questions, and we have a few that were previously submitted. Yes, we have a question about new about document metadata. So we'll add that to the list. All right, cool. So let me move on to the questions that we have here. We'll start off with, what is your take on site templates? And I think, Mark Anderson, you want to sort of start this conversation. We're going to add Dan's question to the list here.
Do I have an opinion?
Of course you have an opinion. Okay. Please share it with the class.
I can look over at Julie and see actual Julie.
Yes.
Site templates are, I look at them as a very powerful way to build IA components. And I think they are incredibly valuable for that. I don't think that they don't do what their name represents. They are not site templates, and for the primary reason that you can't do anything on pages. You can only do lists and libraries and navigation and lots of stuff, but not pages. So to me, it doesn't really give you a full site templating capability. But we use them all the time. And oftentimes we use it for something like, you know, create a policy library, set up these views, apply the policy content type to it, and maybe add the policy link to the navigation. So again, sort of components as opposed to the entire site template. So I think they're really good. And
you got to speak a little closer to the mic there, Mark.
Or just speak up.
And they'll be around for a good long time.
But what is your take on the last remaining piece of why pages aren't quite there? Is it the Pages API isn't?
The Pages API.
Let's say the Pages API did mature or accelerate. Do you think it would get included?
One would hope, yes. I mean, I think we've heard hints, let's say,
yeah,
that site templates are going to be getting some love. We don't know exactly where the Pages API thing is, though all of us make noise about it all the time. So I would love to see that turns into a real capability, because I think it's important.
I have a good feeling about site templates. I do. And I haven't had one for a long time. So
It's this weird feeling. I feel good about something.
I haven't felt good about it in a long time, but I kind of feel okay about it right
Feel
now.
good about something. We all sit up and we notice.
Yeah, well,
So
as you
Casper asked a question. As far as I know, site templates are deprecated.
no,
No, they
that's
are not.
definitely not true.
Knowledge I have, no.
No. Definitely not true.
Do you know where you might have heard that, Casper?
I have not heard it as such. I've just seen the number of changes and updates that we've seen during the last couple of years, and I have seen none, even
That's
including some of the areas which we know is a pain point for all of us. So I've avoided it totally and gone another way using a more Azure dependent route. But the site templates as such, I've bumped my head against it so many times that I've just given up on it. But that might just be my experience.
I've actually seen a couple of improvements. So for example, when you apply a site template, you used to, back in the old days, you would see sort of a check mark next to each thing as it happened. That went away for a while and now it's back. So that's an improvement that's happened sometime in the last, I'd say year and a half. There are certainly reasons why you might go to Azure Functions or Logic Apps or something, but I think site templates are what they are.
Yeah, but that's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Like site templates are not, you can apply site templates with code that you put in an Azure function. So it's apples and oranges. It's a provisioning tool. There's PMP tools to do provisioning, and there's, and then there's REST APIs or CSOM endpoints that you can use to provision things. So I think that, Casper, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what you're saying. You're using one of those types of tools to do the thing. Right. Okay. So to do the things that site templates should be able to do. Site templates are certainly super limited. But I think based on, some conversations I've been having, they have a life, and I'm hoping that they get the investment that are needed to support some of the stuff that I think that the engineering team is thinking about doing. So I see I have this like glimpse of hope that things will happen in the future.
Yeah, and I think part of the conversation in the chat, Caleb, site templates used to be called site designs. Site designs and now site templates are bundles of site scripts. So you could have give my policies library one. You could create 3 or 4 different libraries, each in its own site script, and you can bundle those together into a site template. So I like to think about how to use these things in that kind of componented way. I like to build a site script that does a very limited thing and then bundle them together into site templates. The fact that site designs were renamed site templates, and site templates, the way we used to know them back in the old on-prem days, were not just deprecated, they went away. They're not available anymore. That's probably part of the confusion. But these are site designs, which are, they still say they're still site designs in all of the code, all of the, if you run PowerShell, et cetera. But they're really called site templates.
And I think
I have to say that in the last month or two, I've seen and maybe I'm just discovering it, but there seems to have been a very large investment in the documentation for site designs. I was going out looking for a point solution for a handful of sites, and I was like, where has this documentation been all my life? So
I think the other thing that Greg mentioned in the chat is there are some classic site templates that we talked about a few weeks ago, the publishing site templates that are being retired, that are, I don't know, what, they go out at the end of this month?
Oh,
Something
yeah,
like that.
right.
Well,
Yeah,
it's the
end of
middle of-
November.
Yeah, but at any rate, these are the classic publishing site templates that are no longer going to be available. And if you are using them, you shouldn't be using them anyway. But that's
I believe it was September 15th was the date, and then officially in April that was.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You've got it.
So you cannot use them as of September 15th. They're
With
gone.
the
You
day.
can't-
No.
No, today's October.
Oh, October.
October.
You said
It was a month ago.
September. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad.
But at any rate, yeah. So there is again, a little naming nuance. So the classic ones are definitively gone and going away. The new ones, not so much.
Okay, next question I want to take from Dan Tail is, have you guys heard anything new about Microsoft 365 Copilot being able to use document metadata? And the answer is definitively yes. And I shared it with the water cooler team the other day. Sean Squires posted on LinkedIn about that support coming. And so I responded in the chat with the link to the LinkedIn post. So yes, we have heard. And hey, that's good news. We're pretty psyched about that. I like to see the teams, that SharePoint engineering team and the Copilot, overarching things starting to use IA like it should be.
Do you think that coincides with how lists are now becoming a part of the SharePoint agent fabric? And it may go beyond that, just into deeper architecture.
Yeah.
But if the lists are able to be, I forget what the context IQ or whatever the lookup thing is.
Yeah, context IQ, I think you're right.
I'm still skeptical about how this is working because the context of that announcement from Sean seems to not be as sort of general use as what I would want Copilot to do. I'll believe it when I see it. That's my mantra. But I think they're heading in the right direction. We know that metadata, a list is just metadata.
Yeah.
A document library is metadata that happens to be wrapped around in a file.
Yeah.
One would think you don't need two different solutions there, but you do, right?
Caleb is following up with, he's asking me if that extends to Copilot Studio. I think you are saying to me the connectors. Is that what you're asking me?
No, I mean, you can point a Copilot Studio agent at a SharePoint site.
Yeah.
And one of the shortcomings that our customers are finding is that they're unable to use our existing document metadata from within Copilot with the SharePoint connector.
It's my understanding that that's what that's supposed to be, but I don't know. I've got the LinkedIn post that you've got, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
There's a question on the LinkedIn thing where somebody asks, is this just available for Copilot chat or declarative agents or just the knowledge agent? Sean responds and says it will work for library scope declarative agents too. More info on blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Thank you, Todd.
More to read.
I love that.
But it's also a coming soon, right? We don't have our hands on it. So
oh yes, 100%. Yeah.
Sean is generally a very trustworthy guy, I gotta say. So Sean gets excited about something that actually is real.
He's also probably the one speccing it out. So.
Yeah. That was a good thing for Sean, right? Yeah.
And then Casper, you added, but nothing about using content types for grounding yet, right? And I would say no. I haven't heard anything. I haven't even heard discussions about that. So I can't. Yeah.
And I think that's the kind of thing that makes me nervous, right? Okay, if you say you can use metadata in Copilot, how could you not understand content types? Because you might have multiple content types in a library. You want to do an agent around that library. They have different metadata columns. How can it not be content type aware? I happen to like content types a little bit, so I worry about that.
That might come into the next question.
I worry about the new investments not being as aware as they should be of the prior platform strengths.
Content type is a column, so could that not be referred to in a group as metadata?
Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah.
I mean, I'm writing a line there. I understand.
Sure, yeah.
It's not clear, but I'm just thinking it is a column where you can select a different piece of metadata in it if you have more than one. So I'm wondering if they're wrapping that in.
Dan, you're poking the bear.
Is that your question, Dan?
Hey, I'm not being.
Ask us anything.
Don't do
Carol. Carol. Oh, the chat is spicy today. All right, I think I'll go. We have another question in the chat, but I'll go to another one. When would you use choice column versus MMS? And I love this question because Mark feels very strongly one way, and I think he's wrong. So go ahead, Mark. What would you like to say about this? Go ahead.
My opinion
Go ahead.
is that most of the time choice columns are not a great
Oh
choice.
my God, as if you just ducked this.
But the exception would be where you have a very small number of choices that will not change. So high, medium, low, red, green, yellow. Those are choices that are not going to change over time. But if you think at any point you're going to change it from red, green, yellow to red, green, amber, it should be manage metadata column. Because changes to choice columns, if you change the values or you remove values, the old values you've set in that list or library stay there. They don't go away. Manage metadata, you can deprecate, you can merge, you can rename, and all of that flows to the places that you want it to flow to.
If you don't have admin rights, then in that scenario, having it in the list as a list owner or just a site owner would be useful for something.
Sure.
specific.
Sure, I mean,
Not
if
needing
it's
that.
a very small scope too, if it's only for one list and it will only ever be for one list or one site, then that might be okay.
I was just gonna
And
say
you will
one
never
thing.
use it for search.
Then you have to cite
Yes.
Yeah,
terms.
well, yes. I mean, that's tricky.
As much as, I agree with Mark in many respects, I would add a caveat and play devil's advocate with that for that reason, but also you need to know your audience.
Yeah.
If your audience is not mature enough or able to get in to update the metadata, however much we push and prod for it to be a better practice, there are certain instances where you're going to have to do a choice column because that's what people can update and that's what they're going to be able to have access
Yeah,
to.
Or site column one better, but
I think the fact that managed metadata, the term sets are a little bit harder to edit is often a good thing, right? Because you sort of don't want it to be changed a lot. Like it's not red, green, yellow, it's red, green, amber. If you just change that and you don't understand the implications of it, you're causing yourself problems. So centralizing the term sets and having one person or a set of people be responsible for those terms from an IA perspective is a good thing. That shouldn't be designed by committee. It should be designed by very few. So it's a classic. It depends, absolutely. But I think that the rule of thumb of having very few highly unlikely to change versus more or likely to change is probably the best reason to make that decision.
But just to follow up on that, I would also say that even with a choice column, you want that limited in scope. You don't want to open that up for anyone to add terms because that's where you have,
Yeah, I agree with that.
choice column capitalized, lowercase, one word, you can have too many variables. So even as a choice column, I think it should be left to the owners to add those terms as opposed to opening it up for anyone to add
Yeah.
information.
Dan has a follow-up question, lookup versus MMS.
Oh, I miss Lookup so much.
I remember the day.
Oh, I do. Back in the days when we built big giant site collections like this with lots and lots of subsites, we could have a lookup column that's hosted anywhere above and use it anywhere below. That was awesome because lookup columns can have additional connected information. You might have a list of your offices with the phone number and the office manager and the address, and you could pull all of that, any of that stuff into other places. That doesn't work anymore with a flat topology. So I only use lookup columns when I'm working in one site and it's only going to be one site ever. I miss those.
I still use them. So I don't know. I mean, I use them in the one site, only site
Right.
type of
No, I built-
concept though.
I built a whole set of lists that I use for lookup columns in one site last week.
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't use them, it's just that the breadth of power for those has gone away.
Yeah, no, that's fair. We were just talking earlier about project centers and having a project center. That's an area where I make the project list a lookup to other things, so does it make sense?
I've I've often said if the term store could have content types,
Oh, God.
we would
That
have
would be amazing.
so much power.
Yeah.
And I can't convince anyone, including Sue Hanley, which is weird. She usually is right there with me on most of this stuff. If we could say, you know, this term set uses the content type office, and we had all of the columns that we could set for the office, and therefore that was syndicated across multiple sites. Wow, that would be amazingly powerful. But
Caleb has an interesting question that I don't know the answer to at all, but maybe Casper does. Are there known issues and hopefully workarounds that prevent docs tagged with managed metadata from updating the search index?
What? Say again?
Docs tagged with managed metadata, not getting the search index, not getting updated for those docs.
well,
I've
sure,
never seen
in
that, so I don't.
the fact that we don't know when things are going to be indexed. I mean, something might not be indexed for a couple of weeks, but eventually it will be indexed. That black box is really annoying, but not never indexed. What would the example be?
I don't know.
Well,
It's
and maybe
Caleb's question.
maybe you hit on it, Mark. I mean, you just said might not get indexed for a couple of weeks. I thought the SLA was 24 hours for search index.
Oh, it is.
There are no SLA.
Yeah.
SLAs are only good if they're actually accountable for them. What?
Well,
The
that's,
SLR.
you're being very picky.
It's the SLR that is different, the service level reality.
That sounds like an internal Microsoft term, Mark.
You'll
Coin that?
You'll also notice that everything is indexed very, very quickly unless you're waiting for it. How the computer knows is beyond me.
Very
I
true
mean,
for that.
it's the most painful when you're working on an information architecture and you need things to index so that you can then map to your management piece. You know, that kind of stuff, that spin ought to happen faster. And that reindex the list or reindex the site button ought to actually do something. I sometimes feel it's like the door close button in the elevator.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
maybe it does something, maybe it doesn't.
It's the remember me checkbox in the authentication.
Yeah, which definitely does not.
It's the biggest lie in tech ever.
It is absolutely the biggest lie.
Yeah, Caleb, I have
Yeah,
seen
but-
some instances where like a library or something just, I don't know, gets jacked up, I guess is the
Yeah.
best way to say it.
Yeah.
And where something won't get reindexed, or maybe a new document will get reindexed, but changing the metadata on an existing document doesn't. Honestly, the only thing I've ever seen to fix that was creating a new document library and moving everything into it.
Either that, or as
I
you
mean-
just said, Derek, sometimes just creating a new document
Will
gets
trigger
it
it off.
to
Yeah.
trigger and reset it, even and update everything. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
Shenanigans.
We've seen several instances recently, in particular, where we have content types using managed metadata, and it seems like that's key to the problem. So, you know, we have a library that's working, search solution that's working, and then one day somebody comes in and adds 2 new documents to the library, tags them, and hey, why is this document not showing up on my search page, my search solution
yeah.
page? And you know, a week goes by and still nothing, and request reindex, still nothing.
Yeah.
Site reindex, still nothing. Now nothing's showing up because the index been blown away.
Yeah.
That's basically unacceptable. And
Amen.
And, you know, I can be the old man yelling at the cloud, but there's no solution for it.
How do we get through to somebody at Microsoft to get them to pay attention to this?
There's a
'Cause
way.
That's why Mark is in the room.
Come on.
App mentioned Jeff Teeper.
No.
Where?
It's
Somebody
something
takes
that-
more.
I can put in
I'm joking.
a
I'm
link
joking.
to a.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
We've talked about it at MVP summits for multiple years. We've talked about it on calls. We bring it up a lot. And, you know, so I mean, we're doing what we can as MVPs. If you have a problem putting in a ticket is as painful as it is a good idea, because that then gives them some data they can sense.
I would even,
that doesn't seem to get anywhere, Mark, because the new modern support path is go through a third party support organization that is rewarded for blocking sending anything to the product group. So
I would weight the conversation. It may not happen by just one person doing it, but I think if in the context of where people want it to go, which is make Copilot not just useful, because I think it's a great technology, but if it becomes less successful because search is not working behind the scenes, Copilot then is not going to be as successful for the individual, for the company. And maybe to make that connection that if search were better, man, Copilot is going to hum along better as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's it.
But
Create an agent on that document library that's not working
Nice.
properly, and then report it as an issue related to the agent.
Mark, though, is Copilot Studio, and the SharePoint agents using the SharePoint search index, or is it using Microsoft search index or some proprietary slice and dice?
I don't think it's proprietary, but I think the basis is if you have good, healthy document and information and the search is humming and you've got a good index going, Microsoft Graph is then going to pick up on all of that, which then plays into the speaking between Copilot and your end goal, your question, your whatever.
Yeah.
But if it also, as a secondary outcome, just makes search better when you're actually doing search and not just Copilot. The hint was if you were connecting with support.
I heard the healthy part of that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it lends it into something that will actually resonate a little bit more than fixing an older feature that would be nice. Not to say that it's not important, but I think it'll be within something that they will be more apt to fix because it lends into the newer technology motions that they've got a lot of people focused on.
All right. Casper had his hand raised and now it's down. So, he's all good. All right. We have time for one more question. We have 2 questions. Which question should we answer, guys?
I think the last.
All right. Predictions for document sets.
Dan, you're gonna fix them.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I have a feeling we'll have to go back and look, but I think we addressed this exact same question at this Ask Us Anything at CollabDays last year.
Did it come true?
No.
No.
Wait, Dan, did you watch last year's too?
That's
Like,
what he was here.
My less cynical answer is the more the community can talk about the value of document sets, and what they provide us, and why they are important solutions at conferences, in conversations with Microsoft people. I mean, I'm skeptical because it's another thing we've been talking about for years, but they can't go away because they're used enough that deprecating them would be a horrible idea. And somebody needs to sit up and realize that the metadata in document sets could be valuable to Copilot.
Yeah.
We have to put it into that context to make it.
I would even look at the work that they're doing with the knowledge agent to do a lot of the autofill.
Yeah.
Licensing aside, they're interested in having more metadata
Right.
for the benefit of the user in the context of the knowledge agent. But the benefit of what DocSet brings is real similar.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're going to be getting nicer forms for document libraries. They are not going to be document set aware. That's a problem.
I'm gonna poke the bear. What are document sets?
All right, Patrick.
We can actually kick you under the table here.
All right.
We'll have to take the rest of these questions and add them to the grab bag for next time.
Yeah, I
for
think we
another
should.
session.
I agree. Document sets don't get enough love. Well, we did it then. We got through a bunch of questions. That's awesome. I have no resources for today, but October 29th, our next episode on Microsoft 365 Alarm Stories. Join us with the big pumpkin with the weird W mouth. Anyway, we're at CollabDays New England right now, so join us on Friday if you're in the area. Come on over. Although we are sold out. Wow. Wow, everybody. Wow.
Anybody on the call coming besides who's in this room?
I
Raise your
don't
hand.
raise your hand. Yeah.
Make some claps.
TechCon 365 Dallas. Mark and I will be there. We have a Sympraxis code for $100 off if you'd like to go to Dallas. And then Patrick and Derek are going to be at ESPC Dublin, so check that out in December. And we've got a sort of a runway for what's coming in the new year. Microsoft 365 Community Days Miami is in February again. We've got the Microsoft 365 Community Conference in April. School vacation week, which I question strongly about that one, but maybe it's in Orlando. Maybe you want to bring your family. And then the European Collaboration Summit is in May. So that's the runway of things to come.
If the gods shine on us, we may be able to speak at some.
Yeah, and we may be able to speak at some of those. So we don't know officially yet. All right. Well, it was great to have everybody. And for those who are coming, we will see you on Friday. Take care.
Thank you so much for joining us this week on Ask Sympraxis. We love getting your questions or session ideas. You can submit by using the link in About. If you find this helpful, hit that like or subscribe button and share this content with your colleagues.